Imagine this. You're strolling down a bustling street. The air is filled with the hum of conversations, the distant honking of cars, and the rhythmic footsteps of countless pedestrians. It's a typical day in the city, where everyone seems to be in a hurry, yet there's a sense of organized chaos that feels oddly comforting. Amidst this sea of faces, a friendly person approaches you and asks for the time. You glance at your watch and tell them. It's a simple interaction, one that happens countless times a day in cities around the world. Moments later, that same person asks for directions to a nearby cafe. You pause, think for a moment, and then point them in the right direction. It's a small act of kindness, but it feels good to help. You find yourself readily helping, feeling a sense of connection, however brief, with this stranger. It's these small moments of human interaction that remind us of our shared humanity. This, my friends, is the essence of the foot-in-the-door technique, or FITD. It's a psychological phenomenon where agreeing to a small request increases the likelihood of agreeing to a larger one later. It's a subtle dance of persuasion, a graceful interplay of requests and compliance. Just like a dance, it requires timing, finesse, and an understanding of human nature. A gentle nudge towards compliance, where each small step builds trust and rapport, making the next step easier and more natural. By securing a small initial yes, we pave the way for larger requests. It's like opening a door just a crack, allowing the light to seep in before fully opening it. It's a universal language, whispered from bustling market squares to hushed living rooms. Whether in a crowded bazaar or a quiet home, the principles remain the same. The beauty of FITD lies in its simplicity. It's not about grand gestures or complex strategies, but about small, meaningful interactions that build over time. It's not about manipulation, but about understanding the human psyche. It's about recognizing our natural tendencies and working with them rather than against them. We are by nature creatures of habit, seeking consistency in our actions and beliefs. Once we commit to something, even if it's small, we are more likely to follow through with related actions to maintain that consistency. FITD taps into this fundamental aspect of our being. It leverages our desire for consistency and our inclination to build on previous commitments. But how did this technique arise from the dusty annals of psychological research? What led to its discovery and validation? Let's journey back to 1966. It was a time of great social change and scientific exploration. Two bright minds, Friedman and Fraser, conducted a groundbreaking experiment. They were curious about how small requests could influence larger behaviors. They discovered that individuals who agreed to a small initial request were far more likely to comply with a larger, related one later. This was a revelation in understanding human behavior and compliance. The foot-in-the-door technique was born. It has since become a cornerstone in the study of persuasion and compliance, demonstrating the power of small steps in achieving larger goals. Why does FITD work? What makes it such a potent tool for persuasion? The answer lies in the intricate workings of our minds. One key principle is self-perception theory. When we agree to that small initial request, something fascinating happens. We start to see ourselves as helpful, as agreeable individuals. Our self-image shifts, aligning with our actions. Then comes the principle of commitment and consistency. We humans have a deep-seated desire to appear consistent in our thoughts and actions. Once we've committed to that initial yes, we're far more likely to follow through with subsequent requests, even if they are larger. Finally, FITD works because of gradual escalation. It's like climbing a staircase. Each small step takes us higher, making the ultimate destination feel less daunting. FITD isn't confined to the sterile walls of a laboratory. It's a concept that thrives in the hustle and bustle of everyday life. It's alive and well in the real world, subtly shaping our interactions. From the moment we step out of our homes, FITD is at play, influencing our decisions and behaviors in ways we might not even realize. Take marketing, for instance. Ever wondered why those free samples at the supermarket are so enticing? It's not just about the freebie. It's about creating a connection. It's FITD in action. That small taste, that initial yes to a nibble, makes us far more likely to purchase the entire product. The simple act of trying something new can lead to a series of decisions that culminate in a purchase. Charities, too, have mastered the art of FITD. They understand that getting a small commitment can lead to bigger contributions. They might ask you to sign a petition, a seemingly small act. This initial step is crucial because it opens the door to further engagement. But that initial commitment often paves the way for a larger request, a donation. Once you've said yes to signing, you're more likely to say yes to giving. And let's not forget our daily lives. FITD is present in our interactions with friends, family, and neighbors. Imagine asking your neighbor to water your plants while you're away for a day. It's a small favor, but it builds trust and rapport. A small request, easily granted. This simple act of kindness can strengthen your relationship and make them more willing to help with bigger tasks in the future. But that act of kindness can make them far more amenable to a larger request later, like watching your house for a week. It's all about building a foundation of trust and cooperation, one small step at a time. Ready to harness the power of FITD? Here's your step-by-step guide. Step 1. Start small. The first step is crucial because it sets the foundation for everything that follows. By starting with a tiny, almost trivial request, you make it easy for the other person to say yes without much thought or hesitation. Your initial request should be so minuscule, so utterly insignificant, that it's almost impossible to refuse. This could be something as simple as asking for a minute of their time or a small favor that requires minimal effort. Think of it as a gentle tap on the door, not a forceful shove. You want to ease into the process, making the other person feel comfortable and unpressured. Step 2. Build consistency. Once that initial yes is secured, it's time to escalate. But this escalation should be subtle and gradual. The idea is to build a pattern of consistency, where each subsequent request feels like a natural progression from the last. But remember, the key is gradualism. Just like climbing a staircase one step at a time, your requests should increase in size and significance incrementally. Your next request should be slightly larger, but still related to the first. This ensures that the person doesn't feel overwhelmed or taken advantage of. Step 3. Ensure related requests. The connection between your requests should be clear and logical, making it easy for the person to see the relationship between them. The link between your requests should be clear and logical. This helps in maintaining a sense of coherence and purpose, making it easier for the person to comply. If your initial request was to borrow a pen, don't follow up by asking for a ride to the airport. Such unrelated requests can break the chain of compliance and make the person question your intentions. Step 4. Timing is everything. The timing of your second request is crucial. Don't rush it. Allow some time to pass before making your next ask. The timing of your second request is crucial. Don't rush it. Give the person a moment to reflect on their initial act of compliance and feel good about it. Give the person time to internalize their initial act of compliance. This reflection period helps solidify their commitment and makes them more likely to agree to your next request. Let that seed of helpfulness take root. By allowing time for the initial act to settle, you create a fertile ground for future requests, making the person more inclined to continue helping. The fine print. Factors influencing FITD's success. While FITD is a powerful tool, its effectiveness hinges on several factors. Similarity is key. The more similar your requests, the higher the likelihood of compliance. Think of it as building a bridge. Each request is a plank, leading towards your desired outcome. Feasibility matters. Your initial request must be easy enough to minimize resistance, but it also needs to be meaningful enough to establish a sense of commitment. The time gap. Strike a balance. Too short a gap between requests might feel pushy. Too long and the initial commitment might fade. Tripping on the threshold. Avoiding common pitfalls. Even the most carefully crafted FITD strategy can falter. Here are some common pitfalls to avoid. Starting too big. Your initial request is the foundation. If it's too large, too demanding, you risk immediate rejection. Moving too quickly. Patience is a virtue, especially with FITD. Rushing the second request can trigger alarm bells, making the person feel manipulated. Lack of consistency. Your requests need to flow logically. If the connection is tenuous, the entire strategy can crumble. Variations on a theme. FITD is a versatile technique with several intriguing variations. One is the door-in-the-face technique. It's FITD in reverse. You start with a large, almost outrageous request, expecting rejection. Then you follow up with a smaller, more reasonable request, which now seems much more appealing in comparison. Another variation is the lowball technique. Here, you secure agreement with an incredibly attractive initial offer. Then, you gradually increase the stakes, adding hidden costs or stipulations. FITD finesse. Practical tips for maximum impact. Ready to become a FITD virtuoso? Here are some practical tips. Emphasize voluntariness. People are more likely to comply if they feel they have a choice. Frame your initial request as a favor, not a demand. Show appreciation. Gratitude goes a long way. Expressing sincere thanks after the initial request reinforces the person's helpfulness, making them more receptive to future requests. Target emotions. Understand the motivations behind compliance. Are they driven by a desire to help, to be seen as agreeable? Tailor your requests accordingly. Using FITD responsibly. Like any tool, FITD can be misused. It's crucial to wield it ethically and responsibly. Avoid manipulation. Don't use FITD to trick people into doing things they wouldn't otherwise do. Transparency is key. Be upfront about your intentions. If people feel deceived, the strategy will backfire. Remember, FITD is about building relationships, not exploiting them. Use it to foster cooperation, to nudge people towards positive action. In the vast expanse of human interaction, the foot-in-the-door technique is a powerful tool. It's a testament to the subtle, often subconscious ways we influence and are influenced by each other. Use it wisely, my friends. The universe is full of doors waiting to be opened.